Assume everyone is ready from our side of the table? Okay, so okay, Dr. Salmonson.
I appreciate Carlos's comment, and that kind of is my thought, which is if we're saying midwifery is not the practice of medicine, and I respect that, then I would think we do not need physician supervision. And I think we should work towards, it's that we don't supervise the pharmacist. So why should we supervise midwives? I think they should have autonomy, and I would push for that.
Okay, what I'm going to suggest is, thank you very much, Mr. Ramirez, for your offer. I'm going to suggest that staff needs to get together with staff, and if they can use your services, I want to thank you very much for offering them. What I'm wondering about is that if I have a motion on the floor. It needs to either be approved. If the will of the board is to vote for the hearing, which will be at the next board meeting, they should vote yes. And if the will of the board is for that not to happen, they should vote no.
The maker of the motion would like to hear your opinion. How do you feel more this can be handled?
I think it's important for people that are trained to do a specific task, regardless of what that task is, to be able to do the task and have the tools that they need to do that task available to them. The need to bring the midwifery committee to a level of responsibility, transparency, accountability has been over and over and over in this board's purview for the last 10 years probably that I know about. It's been very contentious. It's been at times neighbors are talking to neighbors, meaning people sitting at the committees, groups of midwives are talking to other groups of midwives, are talking to other groups of midwives, and nobody agrees with anybody. And so what this board determined that it would do under the leadership of Dr. Richard Fantozzi and Dr. Lori Gregg, an OBGYN here in the Sacramento area, was to force the issue and to bring it into the umbrella for the time under the purview of the medical board. I think that they have made immense strides. This is not a vehicle for me personally, but on the issue of how things should be done as far as process. And I happen to believe in process and accountability and transparency. I think they've done an admirable job. I'm still saying this is for that community to decide what is best for them. If you tell me that you can't give somebody oxygen and you need oxygen to do your job, I have to listen to people that are using oxygen. I'm not suggesting what is right and what's wrong here. I just think that on a go-forward basis, to get this profession to the point where we expect it to be professional, they need to have the tools of the trade to do their job. So on a go-forward basis, I would support their request. Look, wait, have you also all taken a look at what the language is specifically? It's not as, I don't think it's as broad-based as we might think it is.
The language
page 91.
is on page 91.
So if you look at page 91, so let's take a minute and hear what it's not like we're not talking about a whole big rocket science out there, but anyway. A licensed midwife shall have the authority limited to the practice of midwifery to obtain and administer drugs, immunizing agents, diagnostic tests and devices, and to order laboratory tests, period. This authority includes, but is not limited to, obtaining and administering intravenous fluids, analgesics, postpartum oxytoxic, Rogam, whatever that is, and local anesthesia, oxygen, local infiltration, vitamin K, eye prophylaxis, diaphragms, and cervical caps. Note, authority cited, and then you have that. So it's very limited in scope. It's not that they're going to be administering Oxycontin or prescribing Oxycontin or antibiotics. It's very limited in what it is that they can do. This is stuff that they have been trained to use and are currently using. So it's not like it's something that just evolved. Dr. Bishop?
Do those include narcotics?
No.
Narcotics are an analgesic.
But no, it's limited to what's here. It's not what's not here.
Well, but I think there's
It says analgesics.
Analgesics is a very broad term. Right.
I think it's asprin. I don't think it's...
Then it should say aspirin. Then it should say aspirin or non-narcotic analgesics. I would be accepting of that.
So you would prefer, you would consider it a good addendum to have non-narcotics?
I'm certainly
That's
more
fine.
comfortable with that.
Okay, if that's what's going to take...
How about cocaine? Cocaine's an analgesic.
And the local
I mean,
anesthetic as
anesthetic.
well, yeah.
Right, it's an anesthetic, so it's not...
Isn't it a triplicate drug or something?
Scheduled drug.
Scheduled drug? I don't know from those, I don't take...
We have physicians, and nurse midwives, I'm sure, are very honorable individuals, but we have very honorable physicians who circumvent the law all the time, and now we would be including another group of people who would have access if they so choose, to an additional way to circumvent.
Okay, so would you suggest not the term non-narcotic? Because I don't know what, I know what a narcotic
I
is.
would suggest no prescription drugs, is what I would suggest. Because the law says under the supervision of a physician, which they currently do not have. So
No,
if
see,
approve
you need
this-
to understand that oxygen is a
Oxygen and
prescription.
Rogam.
Okay?
That would include Rogam.
These are, Rogam is a prescription. What I would,
I understand
instead of saying
that.
what you can, it's what you can't. Non-narcotic medication, I understand. No triplicate drugs, no
Scheduled drugs.
no scheduled drugs. How's that? No scheduled drugs, Dr. Bishop?
That's more acceptable than otherwise.
No scheduled drugs. Can you add that into your legislation, Mr. Warden, Mr. Hepler, please?
Well, we would have to kind of amend the motion.
I'll get the motion to be amended after we agree on everything.
My point is, I think it is so complicated, and I do look at that physician supervision and that and the law which you just read it to me as very important. We're trying to do with collaboration now, so this might be a good place for interested parties to come really work with the staff and come up with something we can accept rather than continuously debate and keep adding not this drug, not this drug, not this drug. We don't want to also tie somebody's hands when they need. At the same time, they need to know the complications of the drug. I mean, there are a lot of issues. Drugs are not that simple. They might be great for 95% of the patients, but you have that 5% when there is a serious problem with it, you got to be able to take care of. So I think it is a good time to really meet with the interested parties. We already agreed this morning that we'll do with the interested parties. Why not?
So how about if we take this Part B, and send it back to Midwifery Advisory Council for an interested parties meeting? Okay, so the issue is what do we, Dr. Lowe?
I think that a regulatory hearing is premature because there are too many definitions and issues that are yet undefined. Being trained 10 years ago doesn't make you current to use the drugs now. I propose that we have a work group of interested parties who will lay a foundation for the board, present everything, all the definitions, explain to us what the training entails. If you lay the foundation with this work group and present it to us in an organized fashion, then we can more intelligently make a decision about proceeding with the hearing.
When do we meet
That's a
again?
motion, I second it.
I do like your suggestion of us taking it back to the midwifery, the one you were just talking about.
I think just from a time perspective, the issue is this. The issue is that it's now February. Midwifery Committee meets in March. We meet in May. The issue is that the members of the board don't sound like they're comfortable with what's going on so far, that they have questions and concerns out of deference to information or lack thereof. So the issue is to take it back to midwifery, hash it out there, and then bring it forward and have the... So if we did the interested parties meeting for both at the midwifery meeting in March, that way we would be able to come back to the board in May with all the information as Dr. Lowe has recommended.
Well, I like that.
The people in midwifery doing it alone without the interested parties is they have...
No. There would, excuse me, Dr. Lowe, there would be interested parties at that meeting. No. It would be a publicly noticed interested parties meeting in conjunction with...
I think that you're saying
Right,
is
and combine the two meetings.
combined with the issues to
Or at least
be-
the same day. We can meet, the midwifery can meet in the morning and the interest, or either way, at morning and afternoon. But do it the same location, the same day, everything, and staff will just be very busy. Okay, so now members of the public on the motion as it is. I don't have any slips, so do I see any hands in the air? So we don't. All those in favor of the motion as it stands, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Fine. No opposed, no abstentions? I'm sorry. All right.